Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. Well, I don't know if I'm going to release this on New Year's or before that, but either way, it's that week, so why not? I want to say something that I was just watching a video with Elon Musk, and he said something in it that made me think about 2025 and what I know that a lot of people, at least in my life, in my experience, are going through, and from what I can see, in all the social networks, a lot of other people are going through, and that is about being optimistic or pessimistic. And what he said was, I would rather be optimistic and wrong than be pessimistic and right. And you have to think about that, like when the world's ending, you don't want to be next to the guy that's like, see, I told you, bro. You don't want to be around that guy. I think going into this year, so many people are in fear of so many different things, which, we have been since the beginning. But I've noticed now in my 50 years, and there's nothing new under the sun, but there's plenty of people that seem to fear a lot more. It used to be people feared all the big things, nuclear war and, the economy, stuff like that. But now it just seems like, and I imagine it's just from the constant, non-stop feed of information that a lot of people just view, TikTok and all the rest. But it just seems like people are afraid of everything, literally everything. Like, somebody, every other day, somebody will text me or something, be like, hey, watch out for this. And, it's like killer bees or drones in New Jersey or some crap like that. Listen, I'm not going to try to talk you out of your fears. We've already tried to do that through a lot of these videos. But I will say that the fastest way to optimism is through releasing those fears and at least facing them or having a conversation with what they're about. But as we go into 2025, I noticed this in 2024, I noticed in 2023, like people aren't as excited as they used to be. Yes, they're excited for the new year. Everybody has a good time, everybody, celebrates, but then the next day it's like, okay, what's going to happen next in the news? You have to move beyond all that. It doesn't matter if you want a spiritual walk and the awakening or, enlightenment or anything like that. It doesn't matter. If that's what you're seeking, then good. But even if you're just seeking to not be woe is me all day long, then you need to learn to start looking on the brighter side. You need to start facing the reality of that you can't control probably 99% of the things that you fear. You probably can't control them. So you need to face that reality and move on from them. Him saying I would rather be an optimist and be wrong than a pessimist and be right really rings true when you think about it. Think about you have an optimistic outlook for the future of humanity or this experience, whatever you believe in. And you say, well, I hope that one day we'll all come together in oneness and we'll cure this and cure that and we'll travel space and all that. You live your whole experience, your whole life, you get to the end and you find out we're not really any closer to that. But at the same time, at the end, you're not any closer to what the pessimists were saying. It's just the same thing it has been. There's nothing new under the sun. The world is a shit show and nobody's still not getting along, but you stayed optimistic about it. And you pass on, you die optimistic. Knowing that when you pass on, you can think, well, maybe they'll fix it when I'm gone. Or you can live that pessimistic life and you can say on your last days, these bastards, I knew they'd never get it. And I believe, at least in my opinion, our opinion, is that those kind of emotions, those kind of feelings, those kind of ways of thinking, you will carry on into whatever comes next. I don't know exactly what it is that comes next. But like I said, in my own honest opinion, in what I believe in, I think that you carry it on. And I, every day, do my very best to tune my mind not to think that way, because in case I get hit by a bus or I have a heart attack or anything else, I don't want to be thinking pessimistically. I don't want to be thinking negatively. So what I'm getting at is, you're going into a whole new year, and you're probably asking yourself, why is this stuff still happening to me? Why is this world? I see a lot of it in the comments, folks, and I feel for a lot of you. I feel for all of you. It's the only reason I made this channel, the only reason I continue making these audios. I don't care if there's 5 people listening or 5,000 people listening. It doesn't bother me. But I feel for you, and I see it in the comments, and I see it elsewhere. But the one thing I have to tell everybody, and I keep trying to tell anybody, and I know that it sounds so cliche, so, self-help booky, so Tony Robbins, but you have to think positively. You have to. I mean, if you believe that your actions have any pull on your reactions or the consequences of your life, then so many people are interested in manifesting. I don't really ever talk about manifesting, but if you want to know about, to me what manifesting is, what I try to manifest, and I do practice manifestation, but I don't do it for money, and I don't do it for a new house or a new car. And there's nothing wrong with that if you do it. That's what you need. But what I'm saying is, I try to manifest my thoughts into a way that they'll positively react. I was a very negative person, and I still am a negative person. But what I'm getting at is that I try to manifest that, I think positively. I think of what Jesus always said. And Jesus said, it's not what goes into your mouth that defiles you, it's what comes out of your mouth that defiles you. And to me, that's his way of saying, don't put things out there that you don't want coming back to you. Don't put things out there that can, one, harm another person. So don't backbiting, don't talk behind people's backs. But don't do anything that's gonna put your word's gonna cause any harm to somebody else. But especially don't do it if it's gonna cause any harm to you. You've got to put out positivity. Everybody's worried about 2025. What war is going to happen? What's this going to happen? When are the drones are going to turn into UFOs, and the aliens are going to land, and they're going to kill us all, and this and that, and AI is going to do this. What I'm saying is that everybody's so worried, and I know that everybody was worried a year ago, and everybody was worried 2,000 years ago, and everybody will be worried 5 years from now. But what I'm saying is, you have to stay positive. You have to. When New Year's hits, if you do the New Year's resolution thing, then sit down and write down, hey, these are the things that I've been afraid of. These are the things that I keep being pessimistic about. These are the things that are negatively impacting my life because I'm negative towards them. And sit there and say to yourself, how can I either solve these now, or how can I remove them? Because if you can't do anything about them, if it's a fear or something that you cannot do anything about, it is going to happen no matter what, then you need to drop it. And people have said to me, well, what if it's something that's done to me all the time and I have no way? You do have a way to get around that. If something is being done to you and you do not like it and it is affecting you negatively, then you are able, I know that by society's standards, you may think that you're not able to get around it, but you are. The only person that's holding you back on that is you. I won't go into any more detail about that. There's plenty of real talks on that. The only person that's holding you back is you. What I'm getting at is, don't go into this next year, whatever you want to call it. Do you want to go into it feeling negative, feeling like your life doesn't matter, like your experience doesn't matter, that nothing is good, there's no beauty in this world, there's no happiness, do you want to continue doing what you've already been doing? No. Because if you did, you wouldn't be watching or listening to this right now. And you wouldn't be watching or listening to any of the other spiritual videos. So it's time to stop listening and watching and start acting. It's time to stop going, hey, he's got a good point, I gotta stop being so pessimistic, and stop being so pessimistic. That's why I always say that all these videos and all these things, in the end, they don't really matter. The answers you're seeking, you already have. They're inside. You have to go inside, because that's what happened to me. I said, why isn't any of this stuff working? Why haven't I found enlightenment? Why haven't I been in touch with my higher self? What's going on? I've been watching all these videos, reading all these books, doing all this stuff, and nothing's happening. And then one day I woke up one day and Something just said, don't go on the computer. Don't go read that book. Don't look at your phone. Just sit here and talk to yourself. And I did that for hours. Now, you can do that now. You can do that in the new year. You can do it whenever you want. But I can tell you, until you start doing that, until you start going to that introspection, that meditation, whatever you want to call it, you will not move any further. It's not in a book and it's not in a video. It's inside of you. Understand that, believe that, have faith in that, and go inside and ask. And ask yourself, how can we stop? I don't want to be the pessimistic asshole anymore. I don't want to be the negative vibe guy at the party anymore. I want to go into it. You know, like, you've got to sit down and just say, all right, I don't want 2025 to be like 2024. I want to see beauty. I want to recognize beauty. I want to recognize the good and the bad. Not just the bad. I want to recognize both. I want to walk that middle line. I always say, think of the yin and yang symbol. Okay, we always focus on the black side and we always focus on the white side, but what we never focus on is the line that divides them. Focus on that. Focus on, how can I walk this middle line? I'm going to mess up. I'm going to slide into the other side, but I'm going to do some good things too. I'm going to slide into that side, but I'm not going to focus on staying on one or the other, because they're polarization. They're there. It's there no matter what. Walk that middle line. How can 2025 be that walk that line? And start to understand my negativity as well as my positivity, and use them both accordingly. Because there's nothing wrong with being negative. Pessimism is a different story. There's nothing wrong with being negative if the situation needs negativity. It's funny, because if you think about positive and negative and you think negative is bad, well, guess what? Your car won't start without the negative side of your battery. So it's not a bad thing, right? That's how you have to look at it. They're all labels. You have to look at how the labels are used. Listen, just do the best you can to think positive. Don't ask the universe or God or source or whatever you call it. Don't be like, oh, God, I really need some help, but I know I didn't do anything good this week. Stop. See, all those are negative thoughts. That's when you put like conditional thankfulness. Like, I used to notice people in church, they would be like, oh, thank you, God, I got that new car. And then they'd be like, but, you know, even though I couldn't get it in the color I wanted. That's conditional thankfulness. In other words, you're thanking an almighty that you believe in, and then you're saying, yeah, but you gave it to me in green, you know? Well, you do the same thing with the things that you put out there. You don't have to be so specific, but when you say to whatever you're asking for, be positive about it. Be positive thinking about it. Don't allow any negativity into that ask. Don't say, oh, I'm just using it as an example. Don't say, Jesus, I really need help buying this new house. I really think it'll be good for me and my family, even though I know that, you know, my kids are buttheads and I don't really work a lot, so I can't afford it. Don't put anything into it, is what I'm saying, no matter what the truth is, because whatever you believe in already knows, I would assume. Just think positive. Stay positive. Just try it. Try to do it. I know it seems hard, but it ain't hard, bro. I love you all. Walk in light.
Until next time, my friends, I ask all people everywhere to plant seeds of love, peace, joy, and oneness.